Hello. No, I'm not anymore. I was right after it, but I might.
Okay, let's go to our race runner-up in today's 62nd annual Goodies Fast Relief 500. It is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He drives the number 88 Amp Energy National Guard Chevrolet. Dale, tell us about your run out there this afternoon.
Well, we weren't really a top 5 car all day. We worked really hard to stay around inside the top 10 all day, trying to make a lot of changes on the car. We made several changes trying to find that speed. And if you kind of look at how Gordon's race went, he sort of clicked on something there mid-race and got really good. And we were trying to look for that and couldn't really find it in the car. We were doing some things that were kind of hurting our performance, our ability to perform in traffic, so we undid a lot of things for that short run and just freed the car up. And it really ran great. It kind of, as you saw there, we jumped out there and got a run on Kyle off of 2, and I thought I had a nose under him getting into 3, and I knew he was probably going to come down and crowd a little bit, but I had to try to hold my ground. I mean, we were racing for the lead with just a few laps to go, so I think I did, what any other driver probably would have done. But, we got out front and, just tried to put together good, solid laps. And right around 10 to go, the rear started to go away and started to slip around a little bit under braking and down to the center. I was trying to back my corner up because I was wondering if I might be overdriving the car, which I'm sure I was. But Harvick had caught me, so backing your corner down with a guy on your bumper with 4 laps to go ain't really a good an option you got at the time. And he was just real fast, and we slipped off into 1, and he got under me. Or we slipped into 3, and he got under me, and I thought the only chance I had was a little bit of a crossover in 1 and 2, and I tried to make it work, but I couldn't get really up under him enough, and he crowded me the way he was supposed to do in the next corner down here in 3 and 4, and went on, and that was that. So I want to thank we only got there through the strategy that Steve had, staying out, caught a bunch of guys a lap down, or out on out of sequence on pit stops, and so all the credit really goes to Steve for the finish we had today, and the team for really kind of plugging away and making the adjustments. Even though some might have not worked as good as others, we still needed to make some effort, put some effort into making the car better, and those guys kept going all day long.
Thank you, Dale. We'll take questions now for Dale Earnhardt Jr. We'll start right here with Joe Menzer, and then we'll work our way up to the press box after we get David Newton.
Right here. Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Junior, you seem pretty pleased, having finished second. I mean, but is it bittersweet thinking you might have had it there? Or did you just figure Harvick was better all along, and you're going to?
No, man. I was thinking at the end that I was meant to win that damn race. I mean, hell, I'm not sitting there leading that thing by 7 car lengths thinking I'm about to lose. That's definitely not a good attitude to have at that point. I was definitely thinking I need to do what I think I need, what I think is right every corner and try and win this race. I've got a hell of an opportunity right here. And if I can put together decent laps, I might be able to keep the distance I had on him, which was only about 3 or 4 car lengths. But I just couldn't do it. I mean, I made some mistakes in the corners, and the back of the car was giving up on me a little bit. And I just didn't adjust my driving or whatever I needed to do to change my line to find the speed in the car with the way it was handling as the handling was changing. I didn't adapt to the line I needed to run, I guess, to find some speed out of it. But I knew the 29 was fast. The run before that, man, he was really quick. We all watched him, come through the pack there, and I knew he had speed. But he did have a car in front of him, and I was trying to make it difficult for him to get by it.
Question right here with David, then we'll go to the press box. Go ahead, David.
Dale, what were your emotions in the car? I mean, obviously you haven't won in a long time. I mean, you're anxious, excited, nervous. I mean, what were you feeling there? The crowd was kind of going crazy, standing up, waving you on. Could you sense all that going on? Yeah,
I did. But, I was just doing the best I could do with the car and trying to make the best out of the situation. We had an opportunity there to win the race, and I'm disappointed that I didn't get the job done, and it'll probably bother me more and more as the night goes on. But, I'll probably think about it a million times what I probably could have done differently. But, I think if I know what's best for me, I should probably have a good attitude about what happened today and probably go into the next race and use it as momentum and confidence like any other good driver would do, instead of worrying about, how close we came. And I should be thankful and grateful for that opportunity that I had today and for the opportunity I got to work with the team I'm with and even be here competing and take this momentum and take what looks like to be a better start to the season than I've had in a while and to the next racetrack and just keep trying to plug away. We gained a lot of points on some guys that were around us today. The 4 and the 56 had some trouble, and we just need to try to put some distance on some guys and give ourselves an opportunity to be in the chase when time is up. And Steve's a good crew chief, and he's going to give me more opportunities like this, I feel.
Let's go to the press box for questions. Questions for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Go ahead.
Bruce Martin, SI.com. Dale, other than maybe the 18, is the 29 kind of the one car that you really didn't want to see back there in your rearview mirror at that coming down to the checkered flag? Yeah,
I was watching the 18, and he looked like he was having a little difficulty with his car on that particular run. It looked like he was having a little trouble with his car on the short run there, and I was thinking, all right, I'm going. I was wanting him to take off, and so I felt like I could put some distance on the 42, and then maybe see if I could race the 18. But I didn't really want to race anybody with another car behind us that could be bouncing into us and stuff. It's much easier to settle a race one-on-one than it is when you got somebody else trying to poke his business into it. So we got going there, and then we did kind of put some distance on ourselves, and I saw that 18 was having some trouble, and I tried to capitalize on it, and I got a run off of 2. I made a couple stabs at it and just couldn't get up alongside of him, and I think I got a nose under him off of 2 there, and then I started putting some distance on him, and then I saw the 29 pull out, and I knew he was coming, but I think he was passing the 42 at the time, and then he didn't take him long to get by that 18 either. And I ran a couple laps there that seemed to hold him at bay and maintain the distance. And we had some traffic. The traffic at the end of that race was terrible, man. I was catching lap cars and up on the inside. I was on the inside of them coming out of the corner. You can't get out in the throttle, and I just didn't catch. I could have caught lap traffic more fortunately, but I didn't. I don't think them guys were doing anything they hadn't been doing all day long. They were fine, but just the way I was catching lap traffic was kind of unfortunate. I was thinking in my head at the time, but that's part of it, It's part of how he got by it better than I did.
We'll stay in the press box. Go ahead.
Monty Dutton, Gaston Gazette. Dale, you were obviously concerned about the tires, and as far as the day, were the tires better than you thought they'd be, or were you better than you thought you'd be?
We were about like I thought we were in practice, speed-wise, and I felt like if I can do what I need to do, we should finish in the top 10. If we get fortunate and get a top 5 or a third place, I'd be thrilled with that, because that was me looking at our speed all weekend, looking at the lap times versus other cars. Me being realistic about the situation. I thought the tires pretty much performed like they ended up performing today. We really we had a lot of marbles, and nobody wanted to be in the second groove. Everybody was chopping each other really hard to get to the bottom. I don't really recall that being quite the norm here in the past. I think guys were a little more less anxious just to be on the bottom. They were, in the past, I think guys were more apt to run around the corner side by side and try to race guys that were on the inside of them. But today was not the case. If you got on the inside of somebody, you pretty much got the position. So guys were all diving to the bottom of the racetrack trying to cut each other off and stuff. So that was pretty interesting. The tires were a product of that. And the track didn't rubber up, in my opinion. I mean, somebody might try to tell you it did, but I don't think it did. Not as what we're accustomed to seeing. But I think it worked. I like where I finished. I'm happy about today, so I'm not complaining too much. I don't think it was a difficult job out there on the tires. I will give you one thing. They were falling off and getting really, really slick in practice on Friday. They didn't do that today. The tires kind of held on a little bit better, and that's really all the driver cares about. He don't want to be on a tire that feels like junk at 25 laps, and that's kind of the way it was in practice Friday. But that was better today, and we'd just like to have a little bit more than one groove to race in. But it is Martinsville after all. I mean, we haven't really had double file racing here side by side, or the second groove was only preferred when they ground the bottom. Remember that? Right before it all come apart on them in that one race. I think that's the best this track's ever been, was when they ground that bottom, because guys wanted to be on the outside sometimes. If their car worked up there, it was faster. So, but they won't grind in place. But anyway, I think the tire did okay.